Hi, this is Jack Downs with a quick screencast on our InDesign intro exercise for 318 page design. In case any of you are having trouble and want to review this, these are important skills you're going to be using over and over again, so reviewing this video might be helpful. First of all, I'm going to assume you made your folder as described. In fact, I'm going to assume that you actually read through all the instructions first, which is useful, and you've also reviewed the tips and quick shortcuts document, at least the first couple pages of it. So you've made your folders, you've downloaded your files, you've opened up the template, you've saved a copy of the template, well, I essentially did a save as the InDesign file with the name suggested into your project folder. So you don't move the template there, you do a save as, and then a document is created in your folder. And here I am. Remember, we always start by going to the Pages panel. We usually are using the inside pages. We drag and drop it as I'm doing now. The upper one down onto what represents the actual page, which is the lower one. When we do, all we get with this template page from the Pages panel is the folio. Remember, if I want to use this, and I will, I suggest that you put your name in there and read the instructions on that. Do a Control-Shift-Click will unlock it, and I can zoom in, of course, the Control plus and so on, right? I'm going to zoom out with a Control-0, and I'm going to continue along. I say to get the library open, and stick a bunch of stuff around. And the upper left is the quote refer. This all comes from the library. So quote refer up there, boom, drop it. From the library, choose a 4-column 1 head in the upper right. 4-column 1 head in the upper right. There it is. Drag and drop. Boom. Stick the 3-column 2 head in the lower left. 3-column 2 head right there, lower left. Boom. See how it wants to grab to the gutter guides, the column guides? That's good. It'll help you position it properly. Sometimes still they won't. You see this top one is off. You can fix it. And then the thing called box on the lower right. Box lower right, there it is. Boom. Okay, good. So that's positioning stuff in the library. The library stuff should all be fine. Some of it has placeholder text. I tell you about the folio. Unlock that. Put your name in it. Also, open up the quote and put your name in it and italicize it. If I zoom in on that with a Control plus by selecting it first, it's one way to move around. Get used to finding the best ways for you to move around a file. Don't need the library anymore, so I close it up. By the way, I have all the panels up that I'm going to probably need here, so you can look through those and the list in the assignment and get them one way or the other. I want to see the rest of the text. If I double click on this handle, it'll open it up, and you can put your name in there and italicize it. I'll let you do that yourself. Remember, with some fonts, well, Control-I is not going to do it anyway, but you're going to have to go up when you're in the text. Your context-sensitive panel changes, and you may have to go and find, is there an italic in that font? Yes, there is. Okay, so we're going to assume that you're still working on that and doing that, and you're able to do that on your own. And the big things are placing stories. In this first group here, I have my regular selection tool. My type tool would have been okay. I'm going to place this story here. I like to first delete the placeholder text if there is any. Good. And I'm going to place this story with a Control B. This is the Snake Boy story. So I Control D. Control D, and I'll go find it. Oh, where is it? That's the wrong place. Go find my drive. My 317. Sorry, wrong class. 318. My intro folder, project folder. And here's my story, Snake Boy. I double click on it and it flies in there. Okay, maybe I should look at the whole thing or wait. It doesn't matter because Control A is going to select everything. I don't need the 22-inch mark there. Control A is going to select everything, including, and by the way, I'm going to stick this here. See, I have that guide already part of the template. That's going to position my top headline in the proper place. See, I'm really not quite on these other column guides quite right. See what I do? I start clicking off and I select over a couple of things and select it at once. And finally, it's on the guides properly. Anyway, if I do a Control A here, as I was saying, it selects everything, including the stuff that is overset, shown by the overset red plus mark there. And I'm going to use a paragraph style body. Now look at mine has a plus mark on it still. Yours may or may not when you click into it. That says it doesn't really able to set the style properly. Hold down the Alt key and click. The plus mark goes away. You know that copy is fully in the style. Now as you make changes, of course, the plus mark may reappear, but you'll know you're starting from the right style. What other styles? Byline 1 for the first line of the byline. My cursor is in it. Byline 2 for the second line of the byline. My cursor is in it. My story is all styled. You're going to do that sort of step to lots of stories. And I might as well open this file up all the way by a double click on the bottom handle. And I see, oh, I'm a line short. Not allowed. I have to have the equal number of lines so everything ends. So my choices are, I need to either get rid of 3 lines, 1, 2, 3 lines, which would be a lot of work, or gain 1 line, which would be a lot easier. So I'm looking for a paragraph. If I want to gain a line, I'm looking for a paragraph that's ready to just break onto the next line. And hopefully a big long paragraph. This one is, but it's not very long and it's in an awkward place. So I have one little word on the bottom of that line, which I prefer not to. We'll go over more of that, widows and orphans, a little later. By the way, I'm not calling you a widow or orphan. That's just a typographical term for little lines left on the, or partial words left on the top or bottoms of sticks. So that one is nice. And of course, if I wanted to go backwards, I'd be looking for paragraphs like this one, which are ready to break back just a little bit on one line and easy to break back. I'm going to break forward, so I'm looking for a full paragraph. And see, I'm selecting with clicking. Get used to that, how many clicks you use to select copy. Okay, what could I do? Well, I have a choice here, which I'm hovering over. It says tracking. That's the space between characters. Horizontal space between characters. That would do it. I allow a certain amount. I think I say it's plus or minus 20 units. No more. Other choice is horizontal scaling. That's stretching the type, all the type, and the spaces too for that matter, slightly. And I say in your instructions, plus or minus 3%. So let's say I'll go up 1%, didn't do it. Up another percent, didn't do it. Up another percent, it did it. Okay, so that would be okay. Or I could have gone over here to, see, I returned it. Could have gone over here to tracking, go up 10, didn't do it. Up to 20, it did it. Either way, it broke the graph. Sure, there's some little open spaces in the graph, but still, that's what happens with justified one-column copy. Not to worry about it. In extreme circumstances, and in headlines, you might do tracking and scaling together. And the result is, there you go. Okay, so I get the right number of lines. Let's go ahead and place with a drag and drop the same story. We can place the same story multiple times into here. Whoa, right here. I used my scroll wheel. It would have been more efficient for me to perhaps use my hand tool with a space bar to move around. But anyway, I'm going to click in, select, delete again. I'm going to go find my file. Here it is, and drag and drop. And it goes, boom. And then I can do the same styling. I'm not going to repeat for you, but let's say you do the same styling. And by the way, the alignment is going to be different. And you have to move this to get so you can see all the copy properly, get it on the page. And you may find you have to do it again because it was going off the page, and there it is again. And you have to do it again and grab this whole thing and slide it up. I like to grab everything is properly positioned. By the way, you'll see, for instance, if I click on my headline, I have a little inset which is showing me the space is proper. So it's okay to have those boxes touching each other. It's okay to have those boxes touching each other because inset is built in. And I would keep on going, but I see that I have a problem with the number of lines, and you have to fix that too after you do your styling. So let's assume you've done that, and I'm asking you to write the headlines. I'm not going to do that for you, but I am going to tell you that you have to write them to within a couple of counts, I would say, like as in a couple of characters. We call them counts, without changing the point size. Don't change the point size. So this one, I'm double clicking, would have to be something like, you have to write real words, and that would be close enough. It would be as if I had put spaces 1, 2 spaces, 3 maybe, something like that. So it's about two or three spaces left. That would be close enough. Actually, that's more like 2 spaces left. On the other hand, if I really find I need another word, oh, it's got an overset. I can select the entire head and use the same amount of tracking or scaling I allowed you before. Come back 3%, and it wasn't quite enough. Maybe come back a little bit in the tracking too. Boom, it popped in. And that would be okay. Write real heads, not this is a head, and do all of them. Yeah, get rid of this thing too, right? Good, yeah. And style it properly. Okay, so we're going to assume you wrote the heads. Now I want you to place the photos. Photo twice, okay, right? I tell you to draw a squarish two-column box in the center of the page using the rectangle tool. This is the rectangle tool. Rectangle frame tool. This is the rectangle frame tool. That's not the one you want. The rectangle tool does not have an X in it. That's the one you want. So I'm sorry, just select it. I'm going to draw a squarish. And I said two-column. That's two-column one. And by the way, if I click off, I can see, I hit W for preview, W again to unpreview, that yes, that actually has a rule on it, which is what I want. It's actually the proper size rule too. So that's why I use that tool. Okay, how am I going to place this? Well, I can select it and do a Control D, same as I did for the the story. Oops, no, that's the wrong file. Place it and go Control D and find my photo. Click and open or double click on it. There it is. All right. So I want you to right click and fit with content proportionally command. Right click on the image. Come on, select off. It's very slow. Fitting, fit content proportionally. And it shows me the whole photo. I absolutely do not ever want to use fit frame to content or fit content to frame. Fit frame to content wouldn't be that bad. Fit content to frame would be terrible because it would skew the photo. It would throw off the X and Y proportions, which always must stay the same. So what I could do now is I could just double click and the box scrunches up to the photo and it's all set. And I'm going to draw another two-column box over here. The same tool, right here. And I said center of the page. It just means someplace in the middle, right? And I'm going to place with a drag and drop. Here we go. Drag and drop. It's the wrong one. Nope, I lost my thing, so I got to go find it again. My drive, my other drive, my 318, my intro, my image is right there. Drag and drop is another way of placing. So either are fine ways to place. Similar effect. Place the same photo. Now I'm going to say fill box proportionally, which is another choice. Fitting. Okay, fill frame proportionally. What this does is it fills the frame, keeps the photo proportion, but you've lost some of the photo. If I use a direct selection tool and hold down, not in the middle, but right here, I can see actually with my little marks that there's little bits of the photo missing on the edges. And I could properly position and decide it. This is how we crop a photo and see the crop. Because maybe we decide, for some reason, that the regular selection tool of the box needs to be this big. With the direct selection tool, I'd be changing the content. I don't want to do that. And then I need to position it. For some reason, the box needs to be that big, so I can start to position it in here. If I hold down, I can see the photo while I do it. And I position it there. Maybe I think that would be okay. Who knows? So get used to those two ideas. There is something called the content grabber in the center here, which with the regular selection tool in the center of a photo, if I click on this, it acts like that. Similar idea. The content grabber. So we don't click in the center unless we want to use the content grabber. Okay, I'm running out of time here. I'm just going to very quickly go down here and duplicate this box. For some reason, I've told you to do that. Remember, that's an alt-click drag. I told you to turn one of them green, I think. I could use the swatches and go find a green. I could make my own green, but there's a green. I could drag and drop it. That's one way to do it. And then I tell you to group them. Grouping is a useful thing. If I just select around both of them, they act as if they're grouped. I could do a lot of grouped things, but they're not truly grouped. Control G means they really are grouped, and now they're not going to come apart unless I ungroup them, which is another toggle kind of command. How to rotate? Well, one way is just to go over the corner of a grouped item, and it shows you the percentages as you rotate. So I could rotate, what did I say, 30%? Whatever I said. Go ahead and do whatever I said. I rotated them. I think that is all I wanted you to do, except to, of course, export file, Adobe Export, PDF, and we always do high quality print. There it is. That's the exercise.